Have you ever wondered how a single act of loyalty can change the course of history? Ruth's story, nestled within the pages of the Bible, is a timeless tale of faith, devotion, and redemption. She was not a prophetess or a warrior, yet her unwavering loyalty and courage secured her a place in the lineage of Jesus Christ. In today's video, we're diving deep into the life of Ruth, one of the most significant and inspiring women in the Bible. Get ready for a journey filled with heartbreak, hope, and divine intervention. The story of Ruth unfolds during the time of the Judges, a period marked by chaos and moral decline in Israel. A famine ravaged the land, forcing Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their 2 sons to flee Bethlehem and settle in Moab, a foreign land with different customs and gods. This move set the stage for one of the most poignant narratives in biblical history. But tragedy struck. Elimelech passed away, leaving Naomi a widow in a strange land. Her sons married Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth, but within 10 years, both sons died. Naomi was left without her husband and sons, a devastating blow in a patriarchal society where women depended on male relatives for protection and provision. Ruth's loyalty, choosing the unknown. When Naomi decided to return to Bethlehem, she faced an emotional crossroads with her daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth. Naomi, a widow mourning the loss of her husband and 2 sons, believed she had nothing left to offer them. In her anguish, she urged them to remain in Moab, where they could rebuild their lives, marry again, and find stability among their own people. Her plea was filled with selflessness, reflecting her deep concern for their future. Orpah, though heartbroken, made a tearful but pragmatic decision. She kissed Naomi goodbye and returned to her family and culture, choosing the safer and more familiar path. This was a socially acceptable choice, one that ensured she could resume her life with fewer obstacles. However, Ruth's decision was radically different, a choice so bold that it defined her character and her destiny. Ruth clung to Naomi, an act that physically and emotionally symbolized her unwavering commitment. Her declaration, one of the most quoted passages in Scripture, is a profound covenant. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Ruth 1:16. At its core, this declaration was more than familial loyalty. Ruth was rejecting her Moabite identity, her culture, family, and gods, and embracing a new life among the Israelites. Moab, her homeland, was often in conflict with Israel, and its gods were starkly opposed to the God of Israel. By choosing Naomi's God, Yahweh, Ruth was making a leap of faith into the unknown. A humble beginning in Bethlehem. Upon arriving in Bethlehem, Naomi's grief was palpable. She asked the townspeople to call her Mara, meaning bitter, because she believed the Lord had dealt harshly with her. She returned to her homeland feeling empty, stripped of her husband, sons, and hope. Yet, even in her bitterness, Naomi wasn't truly alone. Ruth stood by her side, embodying quiet strength and determination. Ruth's unwavering presence was a source of stability in Naomi's sorrow, a reminder that faith and loyalty often bring light to the darkest seasons. Ruth, now a foreigner in a land where she had no status, quietly took on the role of provider. She went to glean leftover grain in the fields, a practice permitted by Jewish law to support the poor and marginalized. It was an act of humility and resilience, work that was labor-intensive and often dangerous for a woman, especially one from Moab. Yet Ruth approached the task with grace and diligence, showing her willingness to endure hardship for Naomi's sake. It was here, amidst the dusty rows of grain, that Ruth's story took a divine turn. She happened upon the field of Boaz, a wealthy and compassionate man who, unbeknownst to Ruth, was a relative of Naomi's late husband, Elimelech. Boaz was struck by Ruth's reputation. Her hard work, humility, and devotion to Naomi had not gone unnoticed. He extended kindness and protection to her, instructing his workers to leave extra grain for her to gather and ensuring she was safe from harm. But Boaz's kindness went beyond mere generosity. He saw Ruth not as a foreigner, but as a woman of noble character. He admired her courage in leaving her homeland and her gods to care for Naomi and align herself with Israel's God. His actions reflected the love and justice central to God's law. And in his field, Ruth found not only provision, but also dignity and respect. This seemingly ordinary encounter was, in reality, a divinely orchestrated moment. Ruth's hard work and faith positioned her to receive the blessings God had prepared for her. The connection with Boaz wasn't just a chance meeting. It was the first step in a redemptive plan that would transform both her life and Naomi's. In the quiet humility of the fields, God was weaving together a story of restoration, proving that even the most modest beginnings can lead to extraordinary outcomes. The role of the kinsman redeemer. Naomi, recognizing the providential kindness of Boaz and his legal position as a kinsman redeemer, devised a plan to secure Ruth's future. A kinsman redeemer held a vital role in ancient Israelite culture. They were responsible for restoring the family's name and property if it had been lost due to death or financial hardship. For Naomi and Ruth, Boaz represented hope, not just for provision, but for the restoration of their family line. Naomi's instructions to Ruth were carefully thought out, reflecting her deep understanding of the cultural customs and her trust in Boaz's integrity. When Ruth approached Boaz at the threshing floor under the cover of night, her actions were bold and filled with faith. Lying at his feet was not an act of impropriety, but a deeply symbolic gesture. In ancient custom, to request the corner of a garment to be spread over someone was to ask for their protection and, in this context, their acceptance as a spouse. Ruth's words, "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family," Ruth 3:9, were both a declaration of trust in Boaz and a respectful appeal for redemption. This moment encapsulated Ruth's courage and Naomi's faith in God's providence. Boaz's response was equally significant. Far from being startled or offended, he was deeply moved by Ruth's character. He acknowledged her kindness in choosing him, an older man, over younger suitors, and commended her integrity. Boaz saw Ruth not as a desperate widow, but as a virtuous woman who embodied loyalty and faith. Yet Boaz's honorable nature compelled him to address a potential complication. There was another relative closer in line to act as kinsman redeemer. Rather than act impulsively, Boaz committed to resolving the matter lawfully, showing his respect for both Ruth and the customs of their community. This scene underscores the themes of redemption, integrity, and faith woven throughout Ruth's story. Ruth's actions were bold, but guided by respect and trust, while Boaz's response highlighted his own righteousness and care. The encounter at the threshing floor was not just a pivotal moment in Ruth's journey, but also a testament to how faithfulness and adherence to God's principles can lead to extraordinary blessings. In seeking redemption, Ruth and Naomi placed their future in God's hands, and through Boaz's actions, the seeds of restoration began to bloom. Redemption and restoration. Boaz wasted no time. He met with the other relative at the town gate, the place where legal matters were resolved. When the man declined to take on the responsibility, Boaz stepped in, declaring his intention to redeem Elimelech's land and marry Ruth. This union wasn't just a happy ending for Ruth and Boaz. It was a turning point in God's redemptive plan for humanity. Ruth bore a son, Obed, who became the grandfather of King David. Through Ruth's faith and obedience, she secured her place in the genealogy of Jesus Christ, highlighting God's ability to use anyone, regardless of their background, to fulfill his purposes. Lessons from Ruth's story. The story of Ruth is rich with timeless lessons that resonate deeply even today. One of the most striking themes is loyalty in relationships. Ruth's unwavering devotion to Naomi, even when it meant leaving her homeland and embracing an uncertain future, teaches us the power of steadfast loyalty and selflessness. Her commitment to Naomi wasn't just about familial ties, but a profound expression of love and faithfulness that transcends circumstances. Another powerful lesson is the embodiment of faith in action. Ruth didn't merely adopt Naomi's faith in words, she lived it out through her actions. From her decision to follow Naomi to Bethlehem to her hard work gleaning in the fields and her courage in approaching Boaz, Ruth demonstrated that true faith is not passive but active, manifesting in choices and deeds. God's providence is another central theme of Ruth's journey. Even in the midst of Naomi's bitterness and Ruth's vulnerable status as a foreign widow, God was at work, weaving a tapestry of redemption and hope. Through seemingly ordinary events, He brought about extraordinary outcomes, reminding us that His hand is always guiding us, even when we cannot see the full picture. Lastly, Ruth's story breaks cultural and ethnic barriers. As a Moabite, she was an outsider in Israel, yet her faith and character earned her a place in God's plan. Her inclusion in the lineage of King David, and ultimately Jesus Christ, underscores that God's kingdom is inclusive and open to all who seek Him, regardless of their background. Ruth's story is a testament to how love, faith, and courage can transform lives and leave a legacy that echoes through generations. Ruth's story is a testament to the transformative power of faith, loyalty, and courage. From a foreign widow gleaning in the fields to a key figure in the lineage of Christ, Ruth's journey inspires us to trust in God's providence and to embrace opportunities to love and serve others selflessly. What can we learn from Ruth's example in our own lives? Are there moments where we can show loyalty, take bold steps of faith, or trust in God's plan even when the path ahead seems uncertain? If you found this story as inspiring as we did, hit the like button and share it with someone who might need a reminder of God's faithfulness. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the incredible stories of the Bible. And as always, let us know in the comments what part of Ruth's story resonates most with you. We'd love to hear your thoughts.